ground before. It's made of the same material. It's made of till. If you look down at the ground, don't touch the ground. But if you look down at the ground, you notice that a lot of the rocks are a certain size. Size of your thumb and smaller. And that they're all rounded. And they're all rounded because they were basically tumbled by the glacier. So they started off as chunks of rock, and they just got rounded off and rounded off and rounded off till they're this size. Eskers, because they're made up of this kind of rock, is a great source for building materials. This kind of gravel is great for road beds. So a lot of eskers were taken apart. This esker didn't. Why? Answer's real simple. Over there on the other side of the Back River, the Navy, prior to World War I, took land for an ammunition depot to store shells for all their ships. And because this land over here would be a great spot for somebody to do sabotage from, a saboteur or spy, to actually attack the ammunition depot, they took this land as well. So this land was held by the Navy, by the federal government, until the late 60s. And then the federal government, late 60s, early 70s, people in America were going more towards, hey, we should preserve our open space, not build on it. Because this esker would be a great place to build houses, to be able to overlook the Back River. But the federal government said to the town, hey, we'll let you have it if you promise to preserve it. If you want to sell it off as house lots, then we're going to charge you this much money, millions of dollars. So the town said, we'll preserve it. And so that's why this land is where it is, and the esker is where it is. It's called Great Esker because at its height, it is the tallest esker in North America. Some of you might have felt it as you were walking back up from the other end, that it's a significant in height. This esker here is nothing compared to that one over there. It's about 90 feet tall. Now, the area that we're at is called Reversing Falls. It's called Reversing Falls because as the tide comes in, the water flows over the rocks, it looks like waterfalls. And it fills its entire area here. And then when the tide shifts and starts going back out, as it comes out, it looks like falls again. So it's Reversing Falls. You'll notice that there's chunks of wood buried in the ground, and there's these big blocks of what is clearly not stone that's here. This stone wasn't dropped by the esker. How do we know it wasn't dropped by the esker?
They're massive.
Excuse me. Yeah, in the stone cutting trade, they call that dressed stone. That the stone has been cut out, it's got sharp edges. If this was carried by the glacier, those edges would have been rounded off, much like the stone that you're standing on. And then it also has those little marks in it. Those marks are from where they drilled into the stone and then inserted some charges to get it to split off. So what was here? Why are these stones here? Back in the 1800s, this was the site of a tidal mill. They would grind grain here, grind corn into cornmeal. And so there was a tidal mill. They would have a gate that let the tide come in, that shut the gate. And then when high tide was, would hit full tide and the tide began to drop and go out to low tide, the miller would come down, he'd open up the gate, get the mill wheel to run, grind corn, and then stop when the power ran out, which was all the water left, the mud flats here. Osprey nest over there to your left.
What's that thing set up?
That's the osprey nest. So those are built because osprey like to have a spot where they can see everything, and that particular nest is one that there's a pair of osprey that come back to it every spring, and they nest there throughout the summer. So if you're out here walking around, it would be nice if you never walk down the other arm of the esker because the osprey don't like it. And I've been here and I've seen people walking out there to look at the nest, and one of the adult osprey will start trying to chase the person away. They have very sharp talons. I don't think you want to find out that they really don't want you over there. So there's that. But on the other side is what's known as Bear Cove over in Hingham, and that was the ammunition dump or depot. And then further in Wampatuck State Park, that was another ammunition storage place for the Navy as well. At this point, we're going to head back to the parking lot. And I would remind all of you that the gravel underfoot, the leaves, they're damp. Take it at an even pace. I wouldn't be running downhill because that's the best way to wipe out.
I'm still. I'm probably gonna delete this after.
What?
Probably gonna delete this vid after.
Probably gonna what?
Delete the live after.
There's not go back.
Yeah.